brought down by the former Fnatic members. Origen immediately out the gate take away Azir. I expect this to be a consistent ban because xPeke has played it once and lost with it.
Yeah, that's what worries me for Origen. They obviously knew this champion was strong coming into the series and they have to ban it every single game so far. So if Fnatic start coming back and reacting to Origen picks and bans, that locked-in ban may become a problem. Another pick to have in mind here is Kalista. This time Fnatic kind of has to remove it from the champion pool.
Sivir is then open. We saw a lot of AD carry bans in the last game. Ended up getting a corky pick for Niels. Anyway, he's most played champion. One of the champions Origen used really well for that mid-game spike. Fnatic though on this side here, no Gankplank ban yet, but Riven is still open, and we of course have last pick because Fnatic is on red side in case they do see a blind pick GP coming in for Soaz.
Another Cogmore taken away by Fnatic. So same bans as the previous round, and there's that Riven gone.
So this is simply to say to Fnatic, okay, you have to ban the Gankplank now, and then we can either first pick a Sivir, we can first pick an Elise, maybe a Lulu if that is the case for Origen. That's what they're trying to bait Fnatic into.
Well, Fnatic can also say, well, take your Gankplank, we'll take 2 strong power picks and now have a plan to deal with him, or just simply take him away ourselves. Huni to me sounds like a player that could completely wreck in this series with Gankplank himself. So if Origen really want that pick, they'll have to first pick it, and that's what they're doing. They're not going tunnel vision on Soaz. They're saying, okay, xPeke, you're still our target in these pick and bans. You have to play something else. And Origen, they leave open the GP.
So this is a thing for Origen. The fact that we had those 2 AD carry bans first, there were so many things left for Fnatic, which Origen has shown they can be very strong with, and they would get at least a Gankplank or an Elise or a Sivir. There's still 2 open picks now for Fnatic. I quite like that last ban, honestly, just because they didn't seem to have an answer when it comes to running hard engage, or they weren't ready to deal with it. So just ban it away, knowing that Origen would first pick it anyway and could just go for Sivir.
I wonder what xPeke is going to play if Ari gets taken out here. Probably Fizz. He likes that. And Gankplank at least locked in, so still high in priority. Huni says, Soaz, I can do that too. Pick your Lulu, show me the matchup.
But this is what we talked about. We know Gankplank is going to be picked in almost every single game in an early rotation when Riven is being banned. So very, very obvious first pick. Origen still setting the full priority on Sivir. We are in Europe. All these teams here, they really love her. 514, she hasn't been nerfed further yet. This also gives them more engage, so we won't get the same kind of poke composition for Fnatic where they can set up the zone control very well with the barrel. However, I still feel like Gankplank does well against comp who's running at him. Because again, are you running into double barrel and his global ulti? That's going to kill you when you're running to him.
Well, considering the mid lane champion pool was also hit with these bans, Febiven and Peke have to decide where they're going to go. If Peke goes to the Ahri, which was banned out in the previous game, does Febiven run into it? We know he's got a slightly different champion pool to what Peke is playing in most recent weeks.
I've seen the Twisted Fate a few times from him. He will have the last pick now. The Gankplank once again is a good enough blind pick. Almost any matchup can be turned into a farm lane for him, except for that Riven.
Yeah, with Alistar and Gragas locked in, Origen, they don't really give away too much information here, so they're waiting for more information from Fnatic to finalize their team comp. And Fnatic will obviously have the last pick, counter pick, probably in the mid lane. They want to see what xPeke comes out with and counter him. We might actually see a blind pick Fizz here from xPeke to at least guarantee a strong matchup in the mid lane. Fnatic will obviously have that in mind.
And there's enough engage now on the side of Origen compared to what Fnatic drafted in the last game. You have Gragas, you have Alistar and Sivir, of course, to speed up the team. So they are making sure, even if Fnatic wants to run a poke comp, there are a lot of options now of starting fights, getting to that back line. So safe picks. We see that Gragas once again for amazing. He's clearly happy enough saying you can get Elise. I'm not afraid of Reignover in the early game. I'd rather scale up and be stronger in team fights where Fnatic normally shine.
So nothing revealed from Origen for Fnatic. They're going to go back to tried and true for YellowStar. Janna locked in. 5 games this split, and it'll be once more a little bit of disengage to deal with all of Origen's engage.
Yeah, Janna Trist absolutely wrecks towers, and Trist is very low on engage, has big disengage with Monsoon, but what champion can storm right through that Monsoon, you know, with his ultimate? Olaf.
The good old Olaf. This comp right here, we have seen it. Team Solomed ran it over in North America. It is so strong. As long as the Olaf does not get set behind, if he has a very, very bad early game. But look here, Fnatic are kind of tunnel themselves towards a standard lane setup because you have the Janna as the support, not the strongest in the lane setup because the early roams are not very effective, especially not compared to an Alistar. So Fnatic would want standard lanes with Janna Tristana. You also again want that Gankplank in a one-on-one lane, so that secures the Olaf to at least get enough farm to become a threat, and then you buff him up with Sivir, with Lulu, and you smack into that back line.
At the same time, the Fnatic have shown great macro play and flexibility in these lane stops that they can make up for the lack of engagement in the support and just use that Tristana tower push just to simply speed up the game. Say, well, you don't have time for roams because we're taking tower here, taking tower there, and just constantly lock Origen down. Remember, that's what they had to do last game as well, constantly cover their grounds. Origen was always a defensive player in those dives being set up by Fnatic.
We're going to see another first-time champion. So Huni, first time on GP here in the finals. Febiven playing Orianna for the first time, all split. And for Origen and Soaz, this is the team comp that they beat in the semi-finals when H2K tried to run it against them. But H2K showed they were not on the same page to buff up that Olaf correctly.
And once again, Fnatic is running very, very low engage. Who's going to start the fight on the side of Fnatic? Are we going to have a Flash Cocoon coming in, or a Flash Monsoon Hurricane from the Janna? That's about it for Fnatic. So Origen are going to be the team here who can set up the fights very effectively. They don't have to worry about having to suddenly TP in a bad spot for Source. They should always be ready to say, where do we want to fight? How do we want to group up first? When do we want to enable this Olaf to become this massive killing machine?
Yeah, Olaf will just put so much pressure on the Origen squad that instead of starting a fight on the Fnatic squad, rather, instead of starting a fight, Fnatic will just want to run away as long as they can until that ultimate's over and then re-engage the fight. Keep their carries alive against this Juggerlof composition made by Origen.
I'll let it slide. I like it one, actually. I like it one, actually. And for the first time in 3 months, Fnatic now need to show us how they play with a loss. How do they bounce back in a series? And how do they play around the weaknesses in their team composition? Limited engage, hashtag OG win or hashtag FNC win. The crowd is definitely going to get a good series as we load up into Game 2 in the Summer Split Finals.
And let's see what Huni can do on the Gankplank. Soaz had a fantastic performance in Game 1. Huni looking to do exactly the same. GP does do really well into melee matchups, but so does Olaf. Land one axe, follow with the next one. Your early game damage is insane, so we can get a very explosive top lane. Add in 2 junglers, and that might decide the entire game.
Yeah, definitely keeping our eyes on the top side of the map. It's incredibly hard to gank for a Janna Trist lane, and it's incredibly hard to gank a Janna Trist lane, so that rules out the action. Mid lane last game was wave clear versus wave clear. We have double ignite right now, so Peke going a little more offensive. Invading in, Undertow might come out, connects with Huni, that's 1.
Gonna look for another flash from Huni.
This time he uses flash.
Not gonna get caught out this time round, but another early advantage from Origen. No summoner spell for Huni up top, Ghost for Soaz, amazing. I certainly hope you gank this lane soon.
We just talked about it. That 2v2 top lane can be so important in this game. We know Olaf is gonna be the big carry for Origen. Same can be said for the Gankplank on the side of Fnatic, because when your 2 first items is Trinity Force and Infinity Edge, you need a lot of gold in the early game. You cannot afford to fall behind. Otherwise, you simply won't have much of an impact. But if you look at the other lanes for Fnatic, Orianna is going to push in the Lulu. It's normally a very good matchup for the Orianna. Bottom lane, Tristana and Janna can trade really effective in the early stages. So we might just see Fnatic try and take over the bottom side of the map and then make sure Huni can play safe.
And look what Fnatic is doing, because every time jungle gets deported, your river is actually completely clean. So Rekkles and YellowStar making their way to top lane to get to even lanes, it seems. Find out whether lane swap is happening or not. Unspotted up till now by Origen. Bot lane's empty, so we see the standard double jungle teleport to bot lane. However, have to remember, Huni's flash is down for about 3.5 more minutes.
Both teams obviously swapping around here. Fnatic taking away the red buff of Origen, Origen taking away Fnatic's red buff.
The only risky thing about this is that if you follow the jungle paths and you predict how they're going to play out, Amazing will be gravitating towards the bot side of the map, whereas Reignover is going to gravitate to the top side of the map, and that's why Reignover is making this move right now. He knows if he goes to the left side of his jungle, his top laner will be exposed in the bottom. So he's trying to neutralize Amazing in the jungle before he can actually gank that Huni lane. Buy enough time for that flash to come up.
Also the fact he just lost full control of the jungle. You can't really just blindly walk in later on, so he took the safe option, but also the best option for himself. Once he's done his 3 camps up here, we need to see if he moves down to the bottom lane to assist. The wave is already pushing, though, for him. And early engage from Mithy, got level 2.
Look at the boomerang blades onto Rekkles. He's only level 1. The bomb is on Niels' head. Gonna end up being an advantage to Origen, and Mithy's gonna have that roar to keep him healed up.
This is something we shortly talked about in the last game again. Going in.
This is not a replay. This is another play. Mithy gets a two-man knockup. Ignite is burning down into Rekkles. The heal was used and he survives.
But we talked about this in the last game. Origen, they wanted 2v2 lane because Mithy and Niels together is such a strong duo lane. Reignover, he's down the bottom side. Soaz is on his own.
The flash cocoon, the barrels, the boom. Soaz will be going down shortly, but he's going to take Huni. Reignover's looking for more. The red buff is ticking. It's not enough.
What an outplay! Soaz running away with the ghost. No flash from Huni. He took the turret aggro. Instead of Reignover, could have repelled up in the air and reset it.
Outplay by Soaz, but misplay by Fnatic. This is not what we're used to seeing. For the first time, the Reignover Huni synergy is looking to crumble. That should have been a clean, perfect dive because Soaz is not running any flash, so very easy to land your skill shots. Once you force him next to the wall, let's watch that again. Barrel 1 comes out, takes down. Barrel 2 is going to come out, walks next to the wall, and then lands a Cocoon.
You can see how Huni is waiting to hit Soaz, but Cocoon does not pull aggro off the turret, so once the stun lands...
But this is a mistake from Reignover. He wants to leave the kill to Huni and then repels up. He should have just immediately killed Soaz here, and that is so risky. You can't get away with that. Just kill the top laner, come back, kill him again.
Could at least get that 1-for-1. Instead, Soaz gets everything. He was pushed down very early. He's now swapped back to the top lane, saying, I want to get away with this Gankplank.
A loss. Early summoner spell down. A poor tower dive. Fnatic's mental fortitude is going to be pushed to the absolute limit this game. And we need to see how they control themselves and pull it back. Soaz did make his way up top. Huni is recalling from the bottom lane. But this time around, Huni does have a CS advantage over Soaz. Obviously, Soaz has the first blood gold, so that will help mitigate some of that difference.
We quickly talked about how strong Gankplank is into these melee matchups. Your passive is insanely strong. First hit, then you shoot the barrel, resets the passive, you get another one. It's very difficult to trade with him. And he can also push the wave very fast with the barrel. That's what Huni used. Had been a perfect setup, honestly, if they executed that dive better. Suddenly Soaz would sit on like 5-6 CS, would have been shut down, had no teleport, and this would have looked completely different. But the outplay or the misplay, and now Origen is ahead.
I think the biggest outplay was just on Origen's side. Mithy and Niels landing those trades on the Janna Tristana lane. It shouldn't happen. Janna Twist should completely wreck Sivir Alistar because you're so much stronger in trades. The shield is so easy to land. You're playing Janna into a melee support. Perfect disengage, but Mithy found the flying through the brushes. Some aggressive zoning here going on as well. So they're definitely outplaying the 2v2. And that is the question we had coming to the series. Is whose bot lane is better?
Laning-wise, Mithy and Niels has been more dominant than we have seen from YellowStar and Rekkles. They got early level 2 in that lane as well. Really helped them when it came to going all in. Soaz gets himself a little bit of extra gold.
Huni actually choosing to parley the minion instead of risking losing it on that powder keg. Gonna keep trying to farm up. We'll track the timing on how effectively Huni can farm up those Silver Serpents. It really shows a good understanding and mastery of the powder keg farming mechanics and comboed with Parley. And this middle lane we've not touched on at all. Another farm lane between Febiven and xPeke, both running Flash Ignite this time around, and both have access to their ultimates.
And Origen were doing the typical thing where the jungler will flank from the left side, support roams up to the right side, and see if he can go for a 3-man combination of dive gank. However, Mithy was spotted on a pink ward, so decided to not opt for it. Amazing instead goes top. Huni now has his flash available. Will he use it?
Well, let's find out. Huni's in trouble. The barrels are blown, and now Huni flashes away. He will be able to survive, but he will not be able to find a reply kill. He does have that cannon barrage available, but Huni too showing he can get away from a tower dive.
This time it's Soaz taking the aggro. Gets 1 or 2 hits down, uses his cooldown, and then simply backs away from this. Nice flash from Huni. Lost a little bit of farm for it. Now the bottom lane instead. Big wave coming in, and Mithy's engaging.
Another 2-man knockup. We do see Niels getting that explosive charge.
Amazing's
back. Body slam. Amazing channels. He's in a dominate, and he wants to dominate Huni. Cannon barrage is down, and Amazing gets killed. Soaz almost drops as well. Here
he can TP away.
A little spider. Reignover wants a venomous bite. There's a teleport coming in. No, just wide. I cannot remember a time when I've seen 2 tower dives from opposite teams do exactly the same thing. We can see the Unicorns of Love watching in wonder as it's Fnatic that's in trouble. Rekkles is going to try turn around the trade. Puts the bomb on Mithy's head. That's going to explode and get him low. But no flash available and no aggressive push.
But this early game, almost played out as expected. So much focus on the top laners, the big carries in the setups here, especially the Olaf for Origen. That's why they are ganking it. That's why them getting that early kill for Soaz might just be what they need to take another victory over Fnatic.
But if you see the way that trade played out in the bottom lane, where Rekkles had to return damage once Alistar had to walk out, just shows the dominance of Tristana and Janna in that matchup. Before Alistar's level 6, he can never actually commit to a combo because he'll get punished too much. Right now, we see Reignover and Huni tag team their way to a blue buff, so they're denying that of xPeke. Perhaps they can secure the blue buff for Febiven, then the push advantage will go towards Fnatic.
And we have seen now, after a lot of early trades, a lot of early fights, junglers have been active, supports have been trying, or Mithy has been trying to leave the lane a few times. This is why Origen tends to do really well in standard lanes, because Niels can farm for himself on a Corki or a Sivir pick that opens up for Mithy to roam together with Amazing. Their synergy has been fantastic all split long, and then you just combine these ganks together with each other to make sure you get the kill. This time around, it's once again Amazing on his own towards the top lane. They want Huni, and he has no flash.
Oh, the tension. At what point do Origen go in?
Don't tell anyone, guys.
The undercut, it's connected. He's eaten an orange, and it might be K. Huni's going to sidestep the next one.
Kill the minions instead.
And Soaz will get himself 10 extra gold.
Huni was obviously wary of something happened. Soaz has been farming this lane the entire game. Suddenly he disappears. Yeah, Huni's good enough of a top lane to read that. However, Flash still down. Amazing can come back in the next 2 minutes or so. See if he can finish the job.
I would have loved to see an Origen not necessarily go for that gank or not blow any cooldowns at least, and just go and dive Huni again. Because you have double ward up here on the top side. He has no flash. You have the Olaf ulti to prevent any slow, so you can take the aggro. You can go for an easy tower dive again onto him, but now you use that ulti obviously, and therefore you have to back away. And Fnatic, knowing that the jungler was on top side, can start the dragon.
And you also see Cinderhulk being started by Reignover, an adaptation in item build already from game 1.
This might cost them a tower on the bot lane though, because while it looks like an uncontested dragon, if you take a look at the items, Tristana's sitting still on just that long sword in addition to the Dorans. The dragon was prompted because Niels base, but Niels comes back with a wealth of items. They can simply push in Fnatic bot lane right now and perhaps even take the tower. Reignover's looking to hold that lane right now, but it's not going to work. Such a big item advantage on Niels, so we have to see if Origen can equal out that objective trade with a tower in the bot lane.
Fnatic trying to get some control on the top side of the map. You see double pink ward near the mid lane. You see a ward even near the blue buff of Origen. So they're trying to spot every way Amazing can move up there and then counter gank it if he goes for anything on the top side. You have Elise coming in, maybe Febiven can roam up, and therefore you can turn it around. Because again, you want to shut down his Olaf. Right now he's getting too much farm and he has 2 early kills as well.
Luckily for Fnatic, teleport is coming available soon, and they've got that cannon barrage if any action breaks out down bottom. Origen, they're setting themselves up to take the tower. As we talked about, the BF sword pickaxe could not be answered by Rekkles. Rekkles has backed very defensively in lane, and he'll be picking up some AD items shortly. Tower number 1 falls in 11.5 minutes.
Yeah. Luckily for Fnatic, Mithy's not sitting on Sightstone just yet. He has mobility boots, so he can't leave a trail of deep wards in the enemy jungle. However, tower opens up the map a little more. Now they can leave Niels alone in that lane and free up Mithy even more to start roaming. And that's what he's doing right now. Look at the top side of your map on the mini-map. He's heading to the top lane. Might get spotted by Reignover in the jungle though, but Mithy becomes a question mark, a variable unaccounted right now. Let's see if he can find an opening somewhere.
Showing himself top very quickly just to get a bit of XP on the minions. Get some farm as well. I mean, as a support, you take what you can get.
Yep.
For Origen though, they've done a very good job.
Ooh, cancel Huni.
Cancel Huni, yeah.
Huni's gonna get the barrel down. Nope, missed that one.
Gotta chain them together, my friend.
Quite as flashy as Soaz's GP earlier. And actually, you know, when we've seen Huni try to use those powder kegs, he's not really getting the greatest of trades. And we've seen Soaz killing them quite a lot. So you can assume Soaz maybe put a little bit more work on GP as Origen setting up for a potential dive up top.
I mean, I've followed Huni a little bit in solo queue, and he's definitely been spamming the Gankplank. It seems to me he's just not feeling maybe super comfortable right now on stage, because normally when you put up your barrel in lane, you want one in the bush here so they can't be easily lasted. You want one behind your own minions. Origen will take another tower to have the goal lead. They're using the item spikes really effectively.
And this pressure in the top lane actually makes it so that Fnatic's deep vision that they have procured in Origen's blue side jungle is kind of useless, because Origen is just playing ahead of that vision. It's not going to show anybody right now. They're so far forward pressure on pushing Fnatic back, and it's not what they're used to in the early to mid game. And their composition makes it very hard to really punish that.
And that pink ward that is in Origen's jungle from Fnatic has stayed there for a few minutes now, despite the fact the river one was cleared out. Crab picked up by Amazing, and Fnatic now trying to look for more lanes to pressure down. Tristana's gone up top.
But this was the problem for Fnatic. They had just set up enough wards to spot Amazing when he went top lane to gank for Soaz again. And what does Origen do? Well, you have a longsword Tristana at the bottom lane. Let's swap down there, take a tower, and then we swap our dual lane up to the top side with the sidestone now. So suddenly, all that vision built up against the one-on-one between the two top laners didn't matter because there was no one-on-one left. It'd been swapped around from Origen, so they are really playing the map so effectively and making Fnatic waste gold and time.
And we're talking about bot lanes, top lanes, but if you take a look at the mid lane right now, Febiven is slightly ahead of xPeke, mostly due to the fact that he got a blue buff, xPeke didn't. But if we go on in this game and we scale onwards, the damage coming out of Febiven will be way higher than what xPeke provides in this fight. So if he simply gets to farm up at this more than 10 CS per minute rate, he's at 150 CS at 14-minute mark, Febiven will become a carry you really have to watch out for.
Let's make it very clear that Fnatic will have a ton of damage in the late game. We're going to get shockwaves, you're going to get barrels that can crit for 1,000, 1,500 almost.
A couple Triforces.
You know, there's going to be a ton of damage coming in, which can one-shot members on Origen's side. The problem is, Olaf is going to look to do almost the same against the backline of Fnatic. And there is no answer against a sped-up Olaf, who will also get now a tanky item second after the Black Cleaver, so he suddenly becomes very tough to kill at the same time.
I'm personally a big fan of running Exhaust on Janna, since you're disengaged support and you really can't really get any kills for yourself in lane. And Exhaust, while you don't slow an Olaf down in his ultimate, you at least reduce his damage. And that can be enough with the shields coming out from Orianna and just the heal from Masoon to be enough to survive. And then you can kill him. So a really big mistake, in my opinion, to run Ignite.
Yeah, it really seemed like Fnatic was saying, in order for us to win the early game here, we have to win that 2v2 lane, so we take the Ignite for more early pressure maybe. In the 2v2, you have the bomb from Tristana into the Ignite, and you have like a bit of a burst combo. Then again, Exhaust is so much better in this case.
Yeah, talking about all the summoner spells, let's hope a few of them get used. Origen grouped up very heavily in Fnatic's jungle. They're challenging this blue buff. Origen want to reply from the blue buff that's stolen.
Teleport's coming in.
Again has found two. Febiven's in a little bit of trouble, but that cocoon onto Niels from Reignover may have helped Fnatic out. Reignover's in a little bit of trouble. Amazing. He flashes, does not get away, and the kill is secured by Reignover. Now Mithy's in trouble. He's going to pulverize, he's going to headbutt, he's going to unbreakable will, but will he be broken? Fnatic's aside, they do not want the kill. Instead, they're going to look towards Dragon, and we do see a couple members caught out here. Reignover is in trouble. Rekkles swing comes out, undertow, as well as the glitter lance. Soaz, as well as Peke, double team. Niels should be killed here, and kill is by Febiven. Huni's in trouble. He's now in full retreat. The bomb blows up, and Huni gets the kill. Mithy has decided to re-engage for some reason, and Fnatic come away 1 for 3.
Origen tried to contest that blue buff, but find themselves caught in Fnatic's web. Huni managed to teleport behind, and these are the kills they need, especially on Febiven. 2-0-2 right now. His power spike is going to come a lot quicker, in addition to the farm he just gathered. Let's watch it again. Yeah, main player to watch here is amazing. We get the first combo in. Febiven doesn't get knocked back too far. Too much zone control from the ulti from Gankplank coming in as well. And amazing right here. He allows Rekkles to trampoline over as well towards Mithy. Mithy has to use Unbreakable Will defensively. Yeah, that doesn't feel good.
That's one of the worst feelings ever. But Rekkles now, once you get the first kill, can jump on over to Mithy. And now it's basically just Origen being caught behind the lines of Fnatic. They get the kill onto Reignover, but there's not enough left. Remember, this team, when they're together as 5, with the Sivir ulti, with the Lulu speed up on the Olaf, that's where they're strongest. When they split up, suddenly the Gankplank can start doing a lot of work.
Yeah, and Soaz turning around for Reignover looked good at the first sight, but if you remember, Fnatic or Origen could have just pathed downwards and saved their 3 members. Instead, they turned around for Reignover, but it cost them 3 kills in total. So, bit of a mistake right there in terms of map awareness.
So Origen now down in kills. And they're even in gold. That's important to note because Fnatic has not secured any towers. So if Fnatic gets strong enough to push some towers down and they've got a Tristana, it's going to hurt. Amazing's been caught out here just a little bit. The cannon barrage goes down. Reignover's continuing to look for Gragas. The Dragon's even helping. He takes down the fat man. Rekkles has got himself his first kill in the second game.
Again, the Origen here completely split up, and Fnatic can very easily single out the members. Soaz is on the top lane with no teleport. He's going to be joined by EpicSkillshot trying to take a tower for the Dragon, but Huni's on his way to defend it. No ulti though, but the barrels will take care of these minions very quickly.
They will. Huni,
dive him.
He's going to get tried. There is a flash away from Huni. He's going to be able to get away from the second undertow. And the giant Soaz not going to be able to get a kill on the Pirates. Fnatic hold on to their small lead, and you can see Rekkles pushing down bottom. Again, Huni sticking around for some CS, but that movement speed is really, really good. Gonna turn around for a second, again missing the combo, just out of position.
Origen looking pretty shaken up, amazing, overextending a couple times, dying. Mithy failing his combo, not what is used for him. He's landed so many combos in a row when he's played Alistar the last few games, so he wanted to space out the damage, knock him into the wall, then knock him up, but you can't afford to do that against a Gankplank that is so quick at this point in the game.
And for Huni, he actually upgraded Fire at Will as his first upgrade. I didn't quite catch the time. Roughly the same as Soaz in the previous game, but a different build order from what we're discussing. Talking about build orders, Infinity Edge for Niels. Rekkles still farming his way up there. He is sitting on enough gold for it, but he wants one more tower. Gonna take a couple more auto attacks, but the tower will survive.
Yeah, but Fnatic ramping up towards the late game. We talked about this before already. So much damage coming out, and in addition to that, YellowStar is looking to finish his Talisman of Ascension, so when Soaz runs at the Fnatic lineup, they can back off, simply just stall, and if Soaz doesn't get a kill immediately, Fnatic can counter-launch the counter-attack.
Huni is now tanking tower. I don't know if you realized that one. Monsoon comes out, Undertow as well. Fire at will, and so does Soaz. He's got one, he's got two. Here comes Reignover for the reply, and Fnatic as well as Origen. Small mistakes.
Some sloppy tower dive for Fnatic in this game here. Olaf once again picking up some kills. They will take the tower though on the side of Fnatic, but mid lane is open.
Yeah, we've seen more blue steals in this matchup than a Deficio montage. Right now, xPeke is sieging in mid. Orianna's in the top, Niels is in about full-on split push going on.
And towers being traded all over. Fnatic have now got themselves a 3,000 gold lead because they have those 3 towers. They've also secured a bunch of kills. Peke gonna have some support, and come on, tower dive again, let's see it. Not this time. 3 for 3 in towers, Origen and Fnatic.
Origen must have learned, because the last few minutes, some of the fights they've been looking for is not the way you want to play this composition. You are 5-man together. It's about buffing up that Olaf here, let it go crazy in the backline. That's how you want to play them out. The fights they've had was very split up. They haven't been able to coordinate it properly. That's why Fnatic have been able to get some kills and really pull ahead.
Problem right now is though, for Origen, yes, you can't stop Olaf when he's running in. What you can stop is his team that's trailing behind him, because if you chase an Olaf as your teammate, you're gonna walk straight into a shockwave from Febiven, who's incredibly farmed and fed this game. Rabadon's death cap just finished, so he had a huge power spike. So when Origen wants to follow up on the Soaz engaged, they might get caught with the shockwave.
This is one of the things we mentioned in pick and ban phase when it came to Gankplank against Sivir. Compositions who wants to run at your team, well, that becomes very difficult when there is the barrel mechanics, when there is the ulti of the Gankplank to zone you away. So adding that a mass amount of AoE damage coming from Huni, combined with the shockwave, we might just see the backline of Origen die instantly.
Second game in a row where the last pick on red side could make or break the entire game. It was Varus for Origen in game 1 that allowed them to punish Fnatic. The Orianna maybe going to give the zone control.
Huni gets caught by Soaz.
Another fight. Cannon Barrage comes down. Huni needs to dodge those undertows. The barrels are up. He's got a crit. Huni's trying to outplay Soaz, and he's got backup. It's YellowStar that steals the kill or secures it, depending on your point of view.
It's not about the gold. It's about the message. Kill your former teammate. I'm here to go to Worlds. I want the first seed. I'm YellowStar. I want to go back.
Great use of the passive here from Huni. You saw how he kept hitting the Olaf, then he got the movement speed buff, he danced around, he procced the barrel again, reset his passive, and he kept using it, so it's very tough for Soaz to stick to this Gankplank. Well played from Huni, and the rest of Fnatic obviously coming in and helping him.
And again, you see Huni as well as Reignover moving into the blue side jungle of Origen. I think they've stolen 2, if not 3 blue buffs this game. They've stolen a few grumps, they've got deep vision. Fnatic are making it very clear the blue buff is a priority, and it all stems from that top lane priority much earlier in the game as well.
And we've talked about the mental fortitude and the strength of recovery from Fnatic, but if you take a look at the player camps, Origen, they're not looking all that happy. Soaz had a bit of a grim face. xPeke was, thinking, how do we get back into this game? And that might be the thing that defines this series.
And we have to expand. Fnatic have to show mental fortitude to bounce back from their first loss in 22 games. Origen have to show mental fortitude to control the adrenaline from knocking the king off of their throne for the first time in summer. Sometimes you get too hypey.
That's very true, but we have heard a lot from Daylor and the rest of Fnatic, how much they practice being able to stay focused even after a defeat in the game. Ever since Daylor joined the team back in the start of Spring Split for Fnatic and start building up what we see today. And yeah, Huni missing another barrel combo. It's been on
Fnatic,
point.
they came back in the game, even out the towers, got a small goal lead, got a small kill lead. But in the midst of all that, they've secured 2 dragons. The third one is spawning in 25 seconds. And it's going to be hard for Origen to contest, because if Fnatic has the vision control already, moving into an area that is warded up for flank wards for a Gankplank, and in addition to that, it has really good zone control with Cocoon and Orianna is nigh impossible. So we need to see if Origen can out-rotate towards a tower instead, because forcing your way in here is going to be very predictable, and Fnatic kills you when you're predictable.
And one of the problems with Olaf in this case is he's the teleport, so he's the guy you have on the opposite side of the map, but he's the guy you need with your team when the fight starts, because he's the guy you're speeding up and sending in. If your team is in the backline way too late, he won't have an impact, so that's why you see Soaz recall and now run and join his team, because they want to fight for this dragon.
But this allows Huni then in turn to push up the top lane, put pressure. Fnatic don't have to rush this dragon, they can take their time, use that zone control, use that poke, those repetitive shields coming out, because OG, yeah, they're playing with a shotgun. They have 1 bullet in it, 1 shell. They need to make it hit. When Olaf runs at you, Fnatic, well, they have a couple of Uzis and keep firing.
We did see Fnatic have backed away. That cannon barrage also includes Raise Morale as the second build-up. Dragon secured by Origen. Unbreakable Will from Mithy as a defensive play. Fnatic, do they want to chase? The answer is yes. They do manage to chain the barrels, this time from Huni. Soaz is going to put down Ragnarok in full retreat mode. They get the dragon, they get the teleport, and they get the hell out.
Yeah, Origen very clearly saying, we just need to stop this dragon, pick it up for ourselves, we don't want to fight, but now all your cooldowns are basically gone. Everything you need to buff up this Olaf, that means Fnatic doesn't have to be afraid, and they can now invade back into your jungle, take another blue buff, and start setting up at least some vision around the dragon. Baron. Same thing. Yeah,
they move from Dragon to Baron. Gets confusing sometimes. Happens for me as well. Fnatic's been known to get those early Barons down. Origen react with a push in the mid lane. They don't want this to happen. So very suddenly turbulent, chaotic mid game. But good reaction by both these teams here. But yet another blue steal coming out of Fnatic.
I do like the fact that Fnatic's adapting maybe this Gankplank ultimate. Of course, Raise Morale is going to give allied units movement speed in the affected area. Against all of the movement speed that Origen's putting down, oh, it's a good spell shield from Niels. That might be another tool for Fnatic, along with the Janna move speed, the Monsoon, the Disengage, the Talisman of Ascension. There's a lot of hidden movement speed that Fnatic can use in their arsenal.
Yeah, Huni's slightly getting better at Domino right now. But obviously Niels, he's played with this Gankplank. He knows when to spell shield exactly on the right frame, so didn't quite connect the damage there.
Fnatic, though, as you just mentioned before, Raise Morale, Shockwave, Janna, there are so many ways to chase Origen. Once Olaf ulti runs out, there's nothing that's going to stop Fnatic from not just running straight at Origen, get to the back line of them, and amazing as the tank in the front line and Soaz is the tank in the front line, it's going to be hard to kill, but again, there are enough ways to kind of ignore them and still reach the Lulu or the Sivir.
And just touching back on last game, criticized Reignover in terms of his build. This time he went for the Cinder Hulk, he went for the side stone.
It's just much better.
Went for the Locket, and it's giving Fnatic a more controlled style, and they really, really thrive once they can get slightly ahead with that control style. We saw what happened last game when they get behind, but now they find themselves to get ahead, and rarely will Fnatic ever throw away a lead when they have a lineup procured like this.
But we know that Huni likes to play the carry champions up in the top lane, or at least not the tanks. That he hates it. He's only seen like Gnar and Maokai a few times from him. Missing another bell, by the way, from Huni's side. But the fact that they need that Reignover as the front line was why I was at this build in the last game, the Hourglass. On Elise really gives you barely anything. At least go magic penetration, then if you want a stronger early game.
We're getting closer and closer to 30 minutes into the second game. Fnatic, they've managed to bounce back from losing the early towers. And now that Fnatic have strung together a number of kills, as well as those outer turrets, they hold them to like 5,000 gold lead. Void Staff picked up for Febiven. We're going to see Huni and Soaz go toe-to-toe. Triforce Eye Edge, and Huni just Goomba stomps Soaz.
Soaz runs into barrels, double passive plug in. I cannot stress how important it is for Huni in these one-on-one. The amount of damage from it. When he gets the first hit, then he has the barrel, he hits it, so he resets that passive again, gives another hit on to Soaz. The damage is just way too high with these two items. Soaz is now building more for the team fights, not that one-on-one versus the Gankplank who will just crit you to death.
There's no teleport on Huni. He used ultimate, so this Baron fight is 4v4. This might be a bit too much from Fnatic. Shockwave goes out, but doesn't get a kill.
No, it doesn't. YellowStar's monsooned Origen into the Baron pit. Peke is down. Febiven's been able to kill him. Febiven's in full retreat. Baron has been stopped. Soaz, Huni continues to push down bottom, and Niels is flashed away. Rekkles is looking for the kill. He gets headbutted towards Niels. Niels is down. Mithy's going to be so disappointed with that. And Origen lose 4 as Soaz comes back to life.
To be fair, the reason Mithy made that play, he was on 1 hit from dying. If he dies, he gives the reset. If he CCs and they all turn, potentially they can kill Rekkles. But there was honestly no way out there at all. And there was just a misplay in positioning from Origen and the good flying by Febiven. Shockwave didn't result in a kill, but it was enough.
So it's on his way though. As ulti has the Ghost ready. He needs to stop this Baron. Huni flashing out. So it's just showing himself is enough. And everyone from Fnatic runs away. But all this again starts with the one-on-one going in favor of Huni. So now the big part of Origen's comp is not there. The damage is not enough. And Febiven outplaying Peke up there.
Big mistake by xPeke. If you see that Shockwave, you know you have to flash. If you get caught by it and flash afterwards, you pretty much lose a team fight for your team. That could have made a difference on that Dragon fight, because honestly, it was a kill anyways. Either it's a kill and reset, or it's a reset and a kill. But the biggest mistake there, Fnatic, they start a Baron 4v4. They don't have teleport to back them up, so you kind of end up losing that situation unless you outplay. Luckily for them, xPeke didn't flash in time.
And after all of the action, Fnatic got themselves another tower down bottom and an 8,000 gold lead. We saw Febiven getting an attack and a dissonance onto Niels, and it just chunked him down, much like our Soaz just got chunked. Fnatic secure another aggressive inner turret.
Pushing in further here. No Baron, of course, did manage to pick it up, but you have Tristana to take down towers, you have Gankplank to take them down. They have the zone control we saw from Origen in the last game. And they're looking very, very strong. We're going to have such a close series today.
Yeah, Gankplank will definitely go up in priority in these matches, because no team seems to be able to deal with it just now. And just want to stress how well Febiven is farming, because he's not doing nothing on the map. He's involved in so many fights. He's 5-0-5 right now. 10 out of 13 kills for Fnatic. But at the same time, he's averaged more than 10 creeps a minute on this Orianna. So he's well on his way to become a late game AP carry.
Do you want to talk a little bit about Huni's build? Well, we just highlighted Febiven. Huni, gone for Last Whisper 3rd. Not the optimal build on Gankplank. Your Bells is your main damage source right now, and they already ignore 60% of the target's armor. Their Last Whisper doesn't really add on top of that. You don't get like extra percent, like 95 or 90% or 95%. That's not how it works. So it's only like a 10-12% damage increase. Let's talk about that later, because Origen is trying to go in.
And Reignover is trying to solo out amazing. Origen are grouped up. The cannon barrage is down, and Huni's channeling his teleport. Origen continue to be grouped up.
Yeah, denied teleport there by Huni. Good control. Alistar was ready with the pulverize. He had to cancel it. Good zoning as well. Febiven was forced to flash defensively after using that shockwave. So Origen managed to stay alive. However, ulti was used again on Soaz. That's what we talked about before. Shotgun with 1 shell. Wait to reload. Then go again. Find an opening though. Fnatic, they don't want to wait for that opening. It's starting Baron.
Again, they know they can just force a team fight here when there's no Olaf threat from Origen. So Baron going down very quickly.
It is down. It is secured. Fnatic have got it. Cocoon onto Soaz. He's not going to be able to get away yet. 1,000 HP as a rocket jump forward from Rekkles. Does he do it again? No, the barrels come out from amazing. Fnatic are happy. Mithy does find Reignover and YellowStar. Fnatic was split up. Repels up, looking for a target. Reignover comes down. The shield, come on, protect is huge. Rekkles is very aggressive. He's gone forward. He's got 4 members of Origen all of a sudden are down, and Fnatic are on the turret.
Rekkles knows he has the backup of his team, so he can jump in aggressive. Shockwave came in from Febiven. Another one team fight for Fnatic. They're looking to finish the game.
And now all that stands between Fnatic closing out this game, making it 1-1 is Mithy on Alistar, and he simply can't deal with these amount of minions pushing in.
Not at all. Fnatic in 32 minutes, they take down the Nexus turrets, they take down the Nexus, and they even out the series 1-1. Pirates versus Vikings. And in 2 games, we're seeing it's Pirates coming out on top. Gankplank, early pickle, is it going to get banned? And if it gets banned, what does it free up? These are the questions the coaches and the teams have to answer.
We saw so much early action in this game here. The kills early on onto Huni, the failed tower dive from Fnatic. It looked pretty bad, honestly, in the start. But Origen then showed lack of synergy or coordination to play this, what should we say, one shotgun trick, like one shot combo. Because Soaz was never there with the team at the right time, but they were split up completely. And that's what Fnatic took advantage of. They got the lead from it.
Yeah, I actually completely misread that jungle early. Origen actually allowed themselves to be dove in the bot lane. Amazing was at the other side of the map. So I think that is the bigger mistake. Not the fact that Soaz outplays there and Fnatic failed that dive, because that can happen. But strategically speaking, allowing your top laner to be dove in the bot lane while you're playing against a top laner with no flash available is a big strategic mistake. This game could have snowballed a lot earlier. Yeah, Fnatic, they have a way of coming back in these games and series.
They always do. 1-1, Fnatic tie it up. And the top lane Olaf strat also doesn't work for Origen. It didn't work for H2K. We'll see if we're going to see any more of it. Anyways, to break down that victory, we're going to head back over to the analyst.